to Geekology. I'm David Zbiga.
And I'm Sven Harvey.
Are we really going to call it Geekology? It's educating David. Let's be honest. It's Transformers. It's always educating David. Now, I'm going to dissect this for 2 seconds for the boys and girls at home. Okay, this is our 4th attempt at recording this particular video. The reason for that is, well, actually it's not that simple, but it's kind of simple. At the beginning of the year, we promised we were going to try and keep these episodes at about 20-25 minutes a pop. We failed miserably on the 3 attempts previous to this for 2 main reasons. Firstly, I'm recording a Transformers thing with you. Yeah. And secondly, I keep asking stupid questions because, you know, I'm not the Transformer guy, and when you see one little guy in white, one little guy in red, one little guy in yellow, that are exactly the same except for the colour, but completely unique personality traits, he then tells you their personality traits. So, why don't we try and get this one down short?
Yes.
Okay, so let's start with the G1s and work our way up.
Okay. Well, what we have here is Sideswipe, who is probably the one that most people saw first out of this lot. Red Alert. That's Tigertrack. That's Deep Cover. And that's Clampdown. Okay, now what's interesting is that technically speaking, during G1 Transformers, only 2 of these were released, which were Sideswipe and Red Alert. Okay, the others are based on Diaclone colourings, which were then retrofitted into G1 when they did the reissues of these guys by being produced as retail exclusives, essentially, based on colour schemes from Diaclone, which was one of the predecessors to Transformers.
Yeah.
Okay. They've each got their own bio profiles, tech specs, etc. But they're essentially the same toy, just in different colours.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm very lucky to have this is my original Red Alert, which is a little yellow.
Well, yeah, daylight will damage the toy.
But I'm lucky to have this one, which is an original Japanese 1985 Red Alert.
Now, due to the fact that we've done a few recordings of this, I know what the difference is between the Japanese and the English. Now, before everybody goes, it's the writing on the box. With this particular toy, it isn't. It's the internal packaging. Do you want to open it up? Okay, now the difference in the packaging between the UK and the Japanese one is the English one is pretty much the same out of box, but on the inside is the toy on a bubble card.
Yeah.
Where the Japanese have environmentally it's hideous, but from a toy and packaging point of view, it's fantastic. Yeah. They actually put theirs in good old polystyrene.
Yes. And this particular example is stickers haven't been applied yet. It's still got all the paperwork, so you've got the mail away offer as well as the catalogue.
See, I love it when you've got the intact mail-aways.
Yeah. And the catalogue is a bit strange compared with the British and American ones, because what people don't realise is that 1985 was the start of Transformers in Japan.
Yes.
Whereas in the UK and the USA it was 1984, 1985 was most of Europe as well. So what they did with the Japanese catalogue is you've actually got the 1984 lineup on one side and what we would refer as a 1985 lineup on the other, which is something a bit different. That's quite cool. It's nice, something different to have, certainly. I mean, it's quite intriguing when you compare the British and the American version of that, the 1984 catalogue as well. With things like the Decepticon jets being called they're referred to as Seekers, but we used to call them strike planes.
Yeah.
And Megatron's not on there because we didn't get Megatron until 1995. So.
Now, I have to say, out of these, obviously, I like the Masterpieces, although I'm disappointed that these particular Masterpieces are the complete plastic ones with no die cast in them. But for this size range, it's understandable.
Well, they don't do any with any metal in anymore at all.
I love this one.
Yeah.
Tell everybody about this one, because this one was not available in the UK.
No, this is a world's smallest Transformers Red Alert, which was basically a kind of blind box thing in Japan.
A mystery box?
Yeah, they're mystery boxes. So you had absolutely no idea what you were getting until you opened it up.
And how many did they do in the mystery box range?
I think there was about 25, 26, including the specials, something like that.
What were the specials?
Things like Ultra Magnus cab, based on the Optimus. Because Ultra Magnus' cab was just a white Optimus originally.
Yeah.
And then they did things like Optimus Prime in anime and more metallic colours, and the trailer for Optimus, and so on and so forth. So yeah.
So what's a complete set of those looking at roughly in
good luck?
Okay condition.
Oh, just good luck. Good luck finding a set.
Oh right, no chance of getting a complete set.
I've not seen a Soundwave with a Ravage, other than the one on my shelf on eBay for years, because the Ravages get lost.
Well, isn't it like...
It's the size of a thumbnail, yeah, so yeah, it's not really a big surprise, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's all fun. So with the G1 guys, basically, they're all given their own personalities, so eventually ended up with Red Alert being the security director. You had Sideswipe, who was a warrior. Tigertrack's a hunter, to all intents and purposes, which makes sense with his name. And Deep Cover is basically an undercover cop, known as an infiltration agent. And then you've got Clampdown, who's essentially a hard-nosed police officer, who ends up actually going into the Japanese police force.
Now I have to say that this idea works for me in the whole Transformer concept universe, because essentially, robots specific size, they can choose the vehicles they're going to be. So having different colours representing the different character types, rather than having a physically different robot every single time, that really works for me. And obviously it pushes along the lines of sentience / organic concept intelligence. So I like those as ideas. The toy itself, they all transform, they do their bit, they're fun. Now,
not bad for 1984.
No, certainly for the time.
Absolutely. Now on to the masterpieces. I know you like that box, don't you?
I love this box. As packaging goes, this is awesome. This is the Japanese masterpiece. I just love the packaging for this. I mean, the Japanese masterpieces have this style packaging, but this is an event exclusive, which is why it's the pure silver packaging with no colour on it. And other than the fact that you have to wipe it off every single time I do this event, do this, there's a Transformers fan out there, someone who's just put me on the top of his to hit list.
Yeah, I'm clicking dislike right now.
Yeah. I think it's gorgeous. I think it's really nice. The way they picked it out, I really feel that it goes along the line. I mean, let's face it, this is absolutely lovely packaging. It's good fun. In a case it looks fine, very 80s style. However, when you start spending 60, 100 quid upwards, you want something that's, and I mean, let's face it, this was aimed at children, this one's aimed at adults. It puts a distinction down between them, as does the toys themselves. Now I've already said that I'm disappointed that they're not die-cast anymore, but as we've explained in previous videos, that's the way that the company have gone, for understandable reasons. Okay, so when I review these, I review them from what I refer to as a clean perspective, because I have no particular affiliations with any of the characters or the toy line. You don't, for obvious reasons. So why don't you say your comments on them first, and then I'll give more of a clinical review.
Well, in robot mode, they're obviously very similar to each other, which they are clearly going to be in vehicle mode. The main difference being is that Red Alert's got a light bar on his roof, because he's a fire chief response car, just like his G1 version. Character-wise, I do have a thing about Red Alert, because it's one of the characters I collect, specifically because it's like I collect Optimus Prime's, Jazz's, Red Alerts, and one or two others. So these are on that basis alone. I'm going to like these. I'm a little disappointed with the side swipes painting. But then there was a massive QA issue with it when it came out, and there were some people had where the paint was completely missing from sections.
Yeah.
So I think I got off lightly, but there is a second run of those running around now where that's been sorted out.
Now, for those of you who aren't aware of the Masterpiece issues with how they do the bits for these particular ones, in order to make them look more, metal than they actually are, the plastic is painted in octocellulose, which is a form of car paint, which gives them a real nice sheen to it. Unfortunately, because all the panels are done separately in the factory, the paint mix isn't always the same shade, so you do get colour variations throughout, and obviously because they transform into the big block, you end up with some quite weird colour schemes. And unfortunately on some of these you do get pooling issues around the edges where the paint's slid down before it's had a chance to dry, so you end up with build up. On a couple of them you do also get paint splashback from other moulds, which is really bizarre. I'm not quite sure how that's happened in the factories, but we've seen enough of them to know that it is a problem. Now, you told me an interesting thing about a knockoff version of one of these. Now, this is quite good.
Well, there's actually knockoff versions of all of them out now, including one that's a metallic gold version, which is like just come out of the ether completely. But basically, because it looks like Sideswipe, or Lambo as it's called in Japan, was rushed out so much, the KOs actually seem to be better painted, which is quite bizarre. But
in all fairness, even the copies are quite hard to get hold of. It's not like you're going to go, oh, this is £30 cheaper. It's not that much cheaper to get the copies, is it?
Well, no, not really. Not when you factor in things like postage and stuff. Compared with getting, say, the originals from Kapow or somewhere like that.
Of course, the advantage being with that particular one, you will get a nice looking toy.
Yeah,
but obviously,
the second run of Lambo or Sideswipe.
They got rid of
it out. Now the thing is if these do get a release through Hasbro, you won't be getting any of the painting.
No, it'll be
plastic.
Just be
the plastic colours.
Which I think is a shame, because these really do. The paint makes them pop.
Yeah,
you can see it. For those who aren't particularly toy collectors, they look at it and just think, wow, that looks, because they don't know how it's done. So
quite. But what's interesting is that Prowl, which was sort of like the fourth one in the Autobot cars that they did, is it third or fourth? Basically, there have been it's been announced essentially for a UK release. Again, missing the paint applications to a degree. It's just basically the plastic, from what we can tell from the one photo that's running around pretty much. But it's 60 quid, whereas the import from Japan is going for about 55, which is just like, that makes little or no sense. So yes, what we'll do is we'll transform these into vehicle mode and be back in a moment.
And through the miracle of editing, we're back.
Yes, absolutely. So here they are in car mode, all showing off their Lamborghini Countach Mark II modes, which is also known as the LP500S, I think. And it's a perfectly good representation of the vehicle. I mean, okay, you've got panel lines on them, but you're going to get panel lines on Transformers generally anyway.
Well, yeah.
Okay, it's a little bit worse than it may have been on, say, the Vinyl Tech ones from a few years ago, but those would be so expensive to make now. It's ridiculous. The reason why Sideswipe has got his guns on is because that's more the kind of guy he is, to be fair. So yeah, they're pretty good. I mean, if you want to have a look at them in a bit more detail, you'll notice that now it's in car mode, those paint application issues are a little bit more obvious.
Yeah, now you see, I said earlier that I would critique it, so my critique is really this. And it's car mode, that's horrible. I love the paint job for the logo on the bonnet, although, robots in disguise. Yeah. But we'll tell you what we are.
Yeah. It's Sideswipe, he doesn't care.
see, the paint imperfections, when it's in its robot mode, make it look more, realistic.
Yeah.
Not about as realistic as an 8-inch representation of a 40-foot robot could be. In its robot mode, the colour variations work. In its car mode, no, definitely not for this one. Not for the convention exclusive, which is an event exclusive which is a shame, because I quite like that.
Yeah.
No logo on it either.
It comes with the sticker.
Yes, but you get the choice.
Yeah.
I like the fact you get the choice. Now this one, the paint job on is really good.
Yeah.
Which surprises me, because toys that are normally black and white paint don't normally come out well, but this one really did. Transforming them, we will not show you the video footage of me transforming these things because he winces when I get it wrong. Transforming these is easy enough if you know what you're doing.
Yeah, they're a bit fiddly in places, so the smaller fingers you've got, the better.
Yeah, and then watching you wince when I go, it's always but no, I mean, they're relatively straightforward. What I like about these is when they're in robot mode, they're quite solid. They stay in the position you put them in. Yeah. Now, one of the feedback we've had is the fact that when I comment about that, people think I'm referring to the G1 toys that are 30 years old and have been played with, and of course they're loose. It really isn't. I'm referring to... I'm a big fan of Japanese culture. And I love some of the robot model kits that come out, and you know, and depending on the size scale, depends upon the quality.
Yeah.
And I've played with plenty of them that
Because some of the action figures that come out are so detailed and so on and so forth to be collector's items. You can't touch them.
No, they have to be in the packaging. You take them out and so I'm actually referring to the quality of the toy when I say that they do stay in the mode. Obviously, the more you play with it, that's going to slacken off over time, but you expect that with the toy. My only other comment, other than the paint, is the logo. Particularly on this one, I don't know why I like it so much on this one.
Probably because it's not too big.
Yeah, see on this one it's much, much bigger. But I love the fact that on the Masterpieces, not counting this one because this one has the sticker you can put on if you choose, but it's painted on rather than stickers. Now obviously that was a choice where these come with it on, but I really like that. They've done a really nice job on those. Now the only other thing, I wouldn't really say it's a criticism per se, is that on some of the other ranges I really like the eyes because they've used the different colour perspex, the opaque, so they really, you notice those in the head far more, where the head's really small and the eyes are really dark because they're using coloured plastic. Now I think that is because you have to flip open the head. I assume that's why they did it. I think it's a shame. Just
so you know, guys, basically the heads on these split apart so you can get them into vehicle mode. So
I do think that's a shame. I think the guns and all the peripheral bits that come with them are great. Whilst I do like the paint job, and I do think it's a great paint job, I really like the fact that you had the sticker choice with this one. And just because there's this really weird thing, and I don't know if you notice it, but they're robots in disguise.
Yeah, quite.
I feel that sticking a whacking great sticker saying, hello, I'm a good guy or a bad guy, or I'm a good guy pretending to be a bad guy.
Hell, if I rewrote everything, they'd disappear when you went into vehicle mode, so...
Yeah, you know what, I obviously from a design point of view, they couldn't do it, but if it was me, I would do it so that, when they're in their full, that would be right next to the power core, not right over the chest plate. Here's a sim! Shoot me here! Shoot me here! Who are they? Batman. So, it's one of those things. But no, generally speaking, I love the Masterpiece ones. I think they're very, for a Transformers fan, they're great. From a toy collector's point of view, I really like the packaging. Not so fond of the toy because of the paint.
So if you were going to go for one of these three, you'd go for Red Alert, I take it?
If I was going to go for one of these three, I'd go for the event exclusive because I always go for the event exclusive. I've got event exclusives for God knows how many Comic Cons and all the rest of it, just because that's what they are. I collect those. As a toy, I'd probably go with this one. Yeah, to be honest, it's a nice little toy. Some Transformers fan out there is put me again to the top of the hit list, but That's it is what it's meant to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's my opinion as an independent. Do you
mean,
have any parting thoughts?
Well, my favourite's always going to be Red Alert because I'm more of a Red Alert fan than anything.
Yeah, but if you weren't going for the character, you're going for the toy. Which one would you go for?
I'd probably still go with Red Alert just because of the paint. Yeah. To be honest, but it's a case of with me personally, I'm going to want all the variations on it because they're all different characters.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you were going to go for just one version of the mould, then I'd probably say Red Alert, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So, I think that about wraps it up. You can subscribe to us here on YouTube. You can follow us on Facebook and Twitter. And, of course, there's the official Geekology website. And underneath, you'll notice there is an extra special link for our personal private campaign.
Yes.
Back in the Bat.
Get the yellow back in the Bat logo.
We don't know if it's possible, but wouldn't it be wonderful if we could have that proper logo?
Check out the campaign video here.
Are you going to do the thing?
Yeah, here. I'm going to do the thing
How about
here? Or it could be there. Or it could be here as well. I can both places. I can move it between them.
Okay, guys, if you have a minute, please have a look. It's meant as a bit of fun, but we are actually quite serious, so we'd like people to join that. Thank you for watching, and good night.
Bye.
That was much better.
Yeah. No, that too. Yeah.